In 1862, a doctor who never treated a single patient watched wounded soldiers unloaded from trains in Indianapolis. Disease was killing twice as many men as bullets were, so he designed a weapon not to kill more soldiers, but to replace them. Fewer men on the battlefield meant fewer men in filthy camps. Fewer camps meant less disease. Less disease meant fewer deaths. A doctor invented the machine gun as a humanitarian act. That is number 1. 7 weapons, all built by people who had no business near a war. This is ex-military. Let's begin. The first one was built by a man whose entire career was putting people to sleep with laughing gas. Number 7, the Colt Revolver. Before Samuel Colt patented the most iconic handgun in history, his career was laughing gas. He toured the country as Dr. Colt, charging audiences to inhale nitrous oxide for entertainment. He used the ticket money to fund his first revolver prototype. At 15, during a sea voyage, he watched the ship's capstan rotate, one fixed axis, multiple positions locking into place, and imagined bullets. The Colt Patterson arrived in 1836. The Colt single-action army, the Peacemaker, became the most recognized handgun on Earth, carried by lawmen, outlaws, cavalry, and infantry across 3 centuries. The modern revolver exists because a teenage laughing gas showman watched a wheel spin on a ship and could not stop thinking about it. But the next weapon was not built by a showman. It was written into a legal patent by a lawyer, with separate bullets for separate religions. Number 6, the Puckle gun. James Puckle was a London lawyer. In 1718, he patented a tripod-mounted flintlock with a revolving cylinder that fired 9 rounds per minute, triple any musket of the era. During its only public demonstration, it fired 63 shots in 7 minutes, including reloads. No military adopted it. The mechanism jammed. Manufacturing was too primitive, but the detailed historians have never let go. Puckle designed round bullets for Christian enemies and square bullets for Ottoman Turks. The patent stated this would convince them of the benefits of Christian civilization. Square bullets. For theological reasons, a lawyer wrote that into a weapons patent. The revolving cylinder was the right idea in the wrong century, but the next inventor did not have the wrong century, he had the wrong address. A college dormitory. Number 5, the submarine turtle. David Bushnell was 31 years old and still in college. A farmer's son from Connecticut, he enrolled at Yale late, and in his spare time, built the world's first combat submarine. The Turtle was a one-man wooden submersible. On September 7, 1776, it was deployed against HMS Eagle in New York Harbor. The drill could not penetrate the ship's copper hull. The attack failed, but the concept was undeniable. George Washington personally endorsed the project and funded further development. A farmer's son, still completing his degree, built the ancestor of every attack submarine in existence. The Turtle came from a student who had never held a military rank. The next weapon came from a man who spent his mornings inside the mouths of world leaders. Number 4, the Maynard Carbine. Edward Maynard was one of the most celebrated dentists in America. His patients included presidents, foreign ministers, and cabinet members. The Tsar of Russia titled him actual dentist to his imperial majesty. Between appointments, he designed weapons. His Maynard tape primer, modeled on a child's cap gun, was adopted by the U.S. Army for the model 1855 Springfield rifle musket. His Maynard carbine saw combat on both sides of the Civil War, carried by Union and Confederate troops simultaneously. A man who spent mornings treating the teeth of world leaders spent evenings designing the rifles those same world leaders would use to arm their armies. Which one so far sounds the most unbelievable? Drop it in the comments, because the next one involves a math teacher who wanted to sink the British Empire. Number 3, the Holland Submarine. John Philip Holland was an Irish mathematics teacher at a parochial school in Paterson, New Jersey. At night, at his kitchen table, he designed submarines. His motivation was personal. The Fenian Brotherhood, Irish-American nationalists, funded his early experiments. They wanted a weapon that could sink British Royal Navy warships. A classroom teacher, backed by revolutionaries, designing submersibles after school. In 1900, the USS Holland became the United States Navy's first commissioned submarine. Holland then sold designs to the Royal Navy, the Imperial Japanese Navy, and navies across Europe. A math teacher who wanted to fight the British Empire gave the modern submarine to every major navy on Earth, including Britain's own. If you're still here, you already know this is not a normal list. Hit like and stay for the final 2. They earned their spots. The next one was funded by the United States military, tested successfully, and then killed by embarrassment. Number 2, Project Pigeon. B.F. Skinner was the psychologist who proved behavior could be precisely shaped through reward and repetition. His Skinner box, a chamber where rats pressed levers for food, transformed behavioral science. In 1941, he watched birds maneuvering in the sky and saw a guidance system, 3 pigeons, inside a bomb's nose cone, each trained to recognize a specific target, a ship, a harbor, a building. They picked at screens showing live ground imagery. When all 3 picked the same point, the bomb steered toward it. The National Defense Research Committee funded him with $25,000. He built it. Simulations showed pigeon accuracy exceeded the electronic guidance systems of the era under identical conditions. It worked. The military canceled it anyway. No general could say the word pigeon in a briefing room without losing the room entirely. A working prototype sits in the Smithsonian today. We are almost at the end, and if you have not subscribed yet, now is the time. Because number 1 is the reason this entire list exists. Number 1, the Gatling gun. Richard Gatling grew up on a North Carolina farm. He was a natural inventor, seed planters, hemp brakes, plows. He graduated from medical school in 1850. He never treated a single patient. When the Civil War began, he watched trains arriving in Indianapolis carrying soldiers destroyed not by bullets, but by typhoid, dysentery, and camp fever. Disease was killing twice as many men as combat, and the doctor, who had spent his career making machines do the work of many hands, reached a conclusion only a doctor would reach. One machine doing the work of 100 riflemen meant a smaller army. A smaller army meant fewer men in filthy camps. Fewer camps meant less disease. Less disease meant fewer deaths. Gatling invented the machine gun to reduce casualties. He based the rotating barrel design on his own seed planter, cartridges dropping into chambers exactly as seeds dropped into soil. The Union Army refused to adopt it. The chief of ordnance suspected Gatling's loyalties because he was born in the South. General Benjamin Butler believed in it. He purchased 12 Gatling guns with his own personal money, $1,000 each, and used them at the siege of Petersburg in 1864. The Army officially adopted the Gatling gun in 1866. Improved versions reached 600 rounds per minute. 160 years later, the M61 Vulcan, mounted on the F-16, F-A-18, and F-22, fires 6,000 rounds per minute using the exact mechanical principle a doctor patented in 1862. A physician who wanted to save lives built a weapon that has been killing for over 160 years, and it shows no sign of stopping. 7 weapons: a showman, a lawyer, a student, a dentist, a school teacher, a psychologist, and a doctor. Not one of them belonged near a battlefield. Military history is not just a record of what happened. It is a map of ideas that refuse to stay where they started. 2 more incredible military stories are waiting for you on your screen right now. Choose your next mission.